Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm seeing some names that I recognize as well. This is totally fun. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm looking over names of people that I know. So awesome. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. We'll get started in a minute, but as we start getting going, we're going to be using the chat function a lot in our program today. So if you've been under a rock for 4 years and you haven't been on Zoom before, go to your dashboard, which is probably at the bottom of your screen, and hit that chat function. Make sure you can see that, and because we'll be putting a lot of our talk is going to be in the chat today, and some verbally as well. So, and our first opening question for the chat is, where are you joining us from today? And so let's see, we'll be seeing some of that. Yeah, where are you joining us from today? Even if I know you and I know where you're from. You might have shifted. I shifted. We all moved to different places. We are so excited that you're here today. This is wonderful. All right, Bedford, New York, India. Wonderful. Colorado, Gold Canyon. Nice. Not far from there. Good to see you, Linda. Ruth, good to have you. Tracy, thanks for being here. Right on. All right. Well, we're 2 minutes in, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to see lots of stuff coming in from the chat. My next question to you is, what do you hope to get out of the program? All right. Well, let me start by introducing you to me. We're in the right spot, right? Leveraging open-ended questions. This is our message mindset skills boost clinic, and we're talking about leveraging open-ended questions today with a little deep dive into open-ended questions. And there's me. My name is Nikki Rohde, and I am an interpreter, and I am a trainer of interpreters too. So I am an interpreter of interpretation. So some of you, this may be kind of a new word for you today. I'm going to discuss what interpretation actually is and give you my definition for interpretation today. I welcome you. I'm going to keep saying welcome over and over and over again. But let me give you a welcome also to Message Mindset. I am one of 4 trainers of interpretation. We got together and we realized that we not only needed support from each other, but when we started talking about what we do, other people were like, I need this support too. And so what we're really excited about today is this is our first inaugural event, which we were really excited about coming together. And we've really found that we can do a lot more, the 4 of us together, and support interpreters, whether those interpreters are new to the field or advancing their skill set. We can do this a lot better together, which we're really, really excited about. So we're very happy that you're here with us today. So let me show you a little bit about what we're doing with Message Mindset. So this is our website. You already had to visit it to register for this, so we're totally excited. Thank you already for jumping on board. We start out this slide with heritage interpretation. And so my definition today for what heritage interpretation is, and I make definitions all the time, so you can take it with a grain of salt or take it as truth and wisdom, whichever works for you. Interpreters speak to the heart and the mind while speaking for the past, present, and future. And we can do this by taking a walk in a historic city with guests. We could introduce people to nature, but we could also, maybe we're doing this online too. Maybe we're content creators. Maybe we're speakers. Maybe we're in the HR department helping people connect to a new agency. Maybe we work for profit or nonprofit government agency. We welcome you all. You are in the right place for sure. So interpretation really is a tool that's useful in any field that uses communication to make an impact. All right. So what we're really jazzed up about is our learning hub, and we've got several different ways that you can learn with us. We're going to be discussing some of these different ways. Our bread and butter really is this one here. It's earn your certificate. We are all instructors for the Certified Guide course. Many of you have already connected with us through that method, so we're glad to see you back again today. And that if you have not taken this course yet, Now is the time. It really, really is. We have several upcoming courses coming up online, and the price is about to go up on July 1st. So if you've been thinking about when's the right time to take a course, take it with us before July 1st. It will still be around. It'll be better than ever, of course, after July 1st. But we have a couple classes, at least Kristen and I, coming up online, so that'd be excellent times for you to take this course. It's going to go up by about $200. So now is the time, like I said. But here at Message Mindset, we also have some other options for you. We have some live events, not only this one, but we have another live event I want to tell you about, which is called Sticky Storytelling. And Kristen Robinson is our instructor for that one. I had the pleasure of taking this course last week, and it is amazing. I got so many ideas. I also have some side things that I do. I travel a lot, and it gave me all kinds of ideas for what I need to do on that. Not just for interpretation, but all kinds of stuff that I do. So hopefully you'll join Kristen for that event on May 29th, or March 29th, in the future already. March 29th, you can sign up for that one. We also have these skills boost clinics. We're hoping to do them every month. So our next one is April 16th, and Monique is going to be talking about themes. So here's some great information about this one. It is it's a deep dive, right? So we'll be elevating storytelling prowess. We'll elevate your storytelling prowess by crafting robust theme statements. You're going to see my theme statements today as well. Hopefully they'll pass muster from Monique. Maybe she'll give me a thumbs up here in a little bit. So join us for this intensive session. It's going to be another deep dive. Like I said, we're going to look at this art of distilling our topics into useful and impactful themes. And again, it's going to be the same kind of situation like we have today, which is about 15 minutes of talk and about 15 minutes of discussion and application. And so 45 minutes, we'll wrap it up. So talk about awesome for these. Now, these are going to be at different price points. We're going to have a lot of different things coming out at different price points. We have some big ticket items, of course. We also have some small tickets. So this is going to be $5. You're lucky today, right? This is our inaugural one, so we wanted to give it to you for free and let you know how, hopefully you'll see how useful these are. They've been really amazing for us, and we've enjoyed preparing for this event and having this for you. We'll also have some asynchronous content coming out by the that's our goal for in the next few months. You'll see some asynchronous content coming out from us as well, so that you don't have to you can learn at your own pace, which is going to be awesome. We also do customized training as well. So if you're looking for something for your agency, that's maybe not the full certified interpretive guide course, but it's a little more than these 45 minutes. We can do a day, we can do a couple of days, we can do a few hours, and whether that's we can look into the possibility of doing that in person, but we can also do stuff online for you as well. And we also teach the certified interpretive host course, so it doesn't have to be just for the frontline interpreters. It might be for that support staff as well. So all kinds of solutions we can look at for you, your school field trip programs, any of those. Really excited about those opportunities, and you get all four of us at your disposal, which is really amazing, because the power in the four of us is just amazing. And and now, in this session, we get to hear from you, and we get to leverage all of this together. So let me tell you a little bit about how this session is going to, I saw a preview into my next slide. Let's get into our discussion today about leveraging open-ended questions. But let me tell you a little bit about how we're doing this. If you just joined us, I'd love to hear where you're joining from, and then also what you hope to get out of this session. Those are my two open-ended questions for us to open up this discussion today. This is really a collaborative session where we get to share ideas and questions with each other. We're going to be using that chat function a lot. If you're not getting a word in edgewise, please put your hand up, and we'll see who's ready to speak, and I'll do my best to call on you. We had about 30 plus people sign up, so I'm not quite sure how many are in right now. We may or may not get to everyone's questions, but I sure hope that over time we will be able to do so. Let's see, we are personal interpreters. That's why we started this. We want to communicate face to face. Well, we can't totally do that on Zoom, but we're getting pretty close. So the more face present we all are, that's the better way to create a community, right? And we're trying to learn from each other and move forward together. So I hope to see your smiling face as we continue on this talk today. If you do need to step out, though, for a moment, feel free to do that. Or if you have a personal distraction, go ahead, turn off that video, do what you need to do. That's totally understandable. We plan this though over lunch. So if you are turning off your video to eat in front of us, just go ahead. Just like turn on your video, eat in front of us. Totally cool. I loved potlucks at work. That's what I don't, I'm missing that. I don't have a day job where we have potlucks. So this is like my potluck. So we are totally fine with you eating in front of us. No worries about that at all. All right. So we got all that housekeeping out of the way. Let's look at the discussion specifically for today. We are going to leverage the impact of your program from start to finish simply by using open-ended questions. I am pressing the wrong buttons at times. Sorry about that. We'll keep going back and forth on that. And if we need to move back on some of these slides, just let me know. We'll come back in. All right. So, like I said, we'll have a short presentation and a little bit of a discussion. We have about 17 people. That is excellent. Fantastic. How to quit. Cassidy, thank you for writing in. Hoping to learn how to quit asking the same question. Boy, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to crunch on that one a little bit. Hopefully we'll get some good answers from the group as well. All right. So first question for you here. What comes to mind when I say the term open-ended question? What are the components of an open-ended question? How do you know if it's open-ended? Write some ideas down in the chat, and then if you want to raise your hand, I'll call on maybe one or two people. Linda, questions that can't be answered with one word. Oh, I love it. Cassidy, it's not a yes or no. Yeah. Monique, any answer is acceptable. Right on. I'm also going to look back on some of the answers that you gave at the beginning as well. Cool. On. We've gotten some wonderful answers on this. I'm also looking at what you hope to get out of the session today. That's wonderful. We'll be discussing quite a bit of that today. Okay. Yeah, so let me recap some of our answers that we've got today. They are answers that are not yes or no. They are longer than one word. We want people to give a short answer. We want people to give their feelings and their thoughts. Any answer is acceptable. So how do we phrase a question in which any answer is acceptable? Well, we draw from personal experience. And we want to start with that just right away from the beginning. In fact, you might even start with it a little earlier, just like I did. Before the event actually started or officially started, I was asking you, where are you joining from today? And what do you hope to get out of the session today? And I'm looking back at some of the places where you were. And even if you told me, oh yeah, I'm joining from Phoenix today, and you're actually in New York, I'm still going to accept you. Either one, right? And I'm still listening to where you are. No matter what you put in the chat about what you're hoping to get out of the session today, I'm looking at those answers and I'm going, oh, this is really great. I want to make sure we get to that today. Or, oh, that is such an interesting point. I want to make sure that we have a whole deep dive around it. I love to hear why you're here today. They're all drawing from your personal experience, right? Currently in Washington State, off season from Yellowstone. I know who this is. That is awesome. Carol, thank you for being here today. Thank you for supporting us and being here. This is wonderful. Good to see you all. So yeah, open-ended questions are ones that draw from the visitor's experience, and they don't have a yes or no answer. And we can also they look. I think we admit it that they look a little like small talk. Many of us, we don't like small talk. a lot of us who are interpreters are also introverts as well. I think that's quite interesting. Maybe we don't like that small talk. Maybe we see no point in it, but there's a lot of point to it. Why do we use small talk? What can we use it for? Put some answers for that in the chat. Open-ended questions start off small, they start off sounding like small talk, but they really have a purpose. So let's look at some of these purposes for why we would want to even use small talk. It seems like break the ice. Thank you, Susan. Good to have you here today. I start off with, where are you from? Yeah. a lot of us do place-based interpretation as well. So we want to know where people are visiting from. And I remember Carol said she was from at Yellowstone. Small talk builds community. Absolutely. Linda, thank you. Help people feel comfortable, build rapport. Absolutely. We've also seen you can use emojis in this chat as well to kind of, thumbs up or heart, do a response. You can also do that just in the chat, even without responding. You can also put it like in your family feud square, whatever we call this box around us. I think it's the family feud square. So yeah, really awesome ideas on here. Why do we use that small talk? Well, it welcomes people in. It lets them know we're transitioning into the program when we use it at the beginning of the program. All the answers are right because it draws from personal experience. It's really low stakes too. So when we're asking things like, where are you from? It's a really easy question. Like I said, I'm gonna accept your answer no matter where you say you're coming from. So it's a really low stakes kind of question, really easy to answer. And what it does is this welcome is absolutely, it's so vital. It's absolutely vital. It establishes, like Linda was saying, it starts to build this rapport with the guest. It establishes with the guest that we recognize that they're there and that we welcome their participation, and we're building this connection with the guest when we have conversations with them, even before the program starts, even if it doesn't seem like it's connected to the program. It also, what it does is it builds their confidence in communicating with you. So like we said, it breaks the ice, right? Yes, absolutely. Susan reaches out to visitors who may feel intimidated, especially if we're wearing a uniform or a badge, right? It helps them feel like we're warm and we're accepting of them. And it's also really good customer service. People appreciate knowing I'm in the right spot. Oh, this person's nice to talk to. Oh, I can talk during this program. All of those things is just absolutely important. I'm already seeing some of you have already volunteered with this, but my next question to you is, what are some open-ended questions that you use at the beginning of your program? I already saw some. Add some more in the chat. There's probably lots of different things that you're doing. Robert, thank you. Yes, building a rapport with the community, but also I like how you're saying this too. With the commonality is why there might be a lot of motivation why there. And we can start seeing that when we have those opportunities for small talk. So this often starts before the program even begins, but you can also add that in to the timing of your program too, and add a couple of extra of it too, or return to it during. Thank you, Monique, for adding a couple. Alyssa added, who has been here before. That's a really wonderful one to do as well. So let's look at what we can do with those. I said it started off with the small talk has a purpose. So we talked about how it starts to establish this connection, right? We can leverage that connection throughout the program if we're strategic about the questions that we ask. We have a lot of great questions. Which one do we choose and why do we choose it? So let's talk a little bit about that. What's the hardest thing to know about your audience when they're first there in front of you? It might be hard. So it's kind of easy to find out, relatively like what their ages are, how many people are in front of you. We can get that pretty easily by looking at who shows up, right? We might not be able to, we might be able to establish some assumptions as to why people came to the program. Many of you are going to be interpreters already in the field. That's one of the assumptions that I have about you. But as I've been looking through the chat and responses, I get a better view about who you are and why you're here today. We can also look at some of the clues that people offer us. If they come in with binoculars and a field guide to birds, oh, they're probably into birding. Or maybe they started birding, or maybe they're an advanced birder, right? And if I see a group of a family with young kids, I'm like, okay, they want to wear off some energy, they want to get some exercise, they want to have some fun. I want to make sure that that's in my program as well. So I'm looking at all these assumptions. I'm looking at these clues, but I'm also like, some people don't give off many clues. I'm a person that's very blank faced most of the time. Monique's been like, remember to smile, Nikki, throughout this program, and I'm so excited. But sometimes we don't know why they're really there. We can go into our programs with an idea of how why we're doing the program, right? We can know from being at our agency over a period of time why people are there, what they're interested in. what kind of programs they keep asking for. Our boss might tell us, our people are really into this and that. Um, and so we build a program around that, right? And we'll be about 95% correct. We're like, middle school program, I'm probably gonna have middle schoolers. This program that's really deep in science, I'm probably gonna have people that are more interested in science. A program that's at certain times of the day might draw a certain type of audience, and you know that, right? That's part of what you're preparing in your program. But there's also that percentage of people that arrive at the program that may not fit what you had planned, or maybe even have some motivations that are outside what you had thought about. So getting to know people at the beginning of the program helps you to figure out, why are they there? Is there any opportunities that I can connect with? If I see that birding book, I'm going to go, okay, what can I do to involve some birding in this program? Because I didn't have any. So I'm going to inform what I might do in this program, what minor changes I can make during this program, so that they're getting even more out of the experience. Like, they came for this experience, and then the interpreter saw that I was interested in this, and they helped to beef up that experience. Your customer service reviews are just going to go through the roof, and people are going to make a lot more connections with your program because of it, right. Um, so we can make those final last minute adjustments. Maybe we take a different trail. Maybe we emphasize a point. If people are taking a lot of selfies, do we take them to a place, and say, hey, this is a great spot for this photograph, or in a couple minutes I've got a spot that's even better. How do we help create those last minute intellectual and emotional connections with people? So we can ask a question that kind of revolves around that. Why are you here today? What do you hope to see today? What do you hope to accomplish? Have you been here before? I wonder if we can take you on a new route. Um, or maybe if everybody's been there before, maybe we can engage them in something more. Maybe they can become volunteers, or maybe it's an ongoing series of programs that you're able to create because people are coming over and over and over again. So you get to learn a little bit from this. You get to go, not only, okay, what kind of minor adjustments can I make for the audience in front of me, but it also informs your audience in general. Like, who am I trying to attract? So you get to learn a little bit from this. But I'm going to take this back to the audience too. Your audience is learning something at the same time. They're learning that you're accepting of. They're learning that you are generally interested and excited about them being there, and that you're going to respond to them in a friendly manner. So they'll be more open to putting ideas in the chat, to responding and shouting out with some ideas, to coming back again because they know that you're interested in them. Like I said, it's fantastic customer service. Sometimes our audiences won't even be able to verbalize those things. They'll just go, I had a great experience at that tour today. I'm going to go back. So picking out, of all these wonderful open-ended questions you might start out your program with, which ones can you leverage to be strategic about how might you inform your program later on? All right. Opening questions doesn't just happen at the beginning, though. Let's do them again at the end. So asking an open-ended question at the end of the program tells the experience on the program. So let's look at how that works. You have goals for your program. You want to know if you're having an impact and you've met your goal. Hearing from your audience about how meaningful the program is will really let you know. So just like any open-ended question, we want to ask it in a way that allows people that any response is great, because it's going to draw from their perspective, especially toward the end of that program, is that they came in with all their baggage, their life experience, their understandings or misunderstandings of things, right? And they started the program, and then they learned something. They connected intellectually. Hopefully, they connected emotionally as well to the resource that you're talking about. And then we want to find out, well, how might they value this? How might they take this away? If we turn it back to going right back to their understanding, their experience, what they're getting out of the program, propels them to keep thinking about this beyond, and it helps them to connect with and put them back in the driver's seat and go, this is my experience. What did I get from this? And what might I do with this program? But this information again informs you. Oh, I've made an impact. Oh, this person really liked this program. Oh, this person made an emotional or intellectual connection to this place. Isn't that helpful to you as an interpreter to learn? Because the next time you do that program, your program's going to get better, right? All right. Oh, I've been talking away. I'm going to take a quick minute to look in the chat and see what all these wonderful things. Let's see. Oh, I love this one, Monique Sullivan. Thank you for adding this wonderful ending, open-ended question near the end. And I welcome you all to put in your ideas here. What was the most surprising or unexpected thing you learned from the tour today? Oh, awesome. In what ways did you think this information could be shared to your community? Excellent, excellent. Um, how to tackling sure that the group keeps with me. Yeah, absolutely. You know, Robert, we can use those open-ended questions again because it's drawing from their experience. Um, then we can then we know that they're excited about it. If a lot of times people are at our events because it's a fun thing to do. They know they're going to learn a little bit from it. That's why they chose you over going to mini hall. They're going to learn something by going to your park or your walking experience, as opposed to just going out and having fun. So they're open to those connections, but they also are coming for this social experience as well. We're social creatures, right? So we want to get that. We want to express ourselves that way. And so when we give opportunities for this, people are really more connected and they're more engaged with what's going on. And I'm going to spend a few more minutes getting to know what's also in our chat in just a minute, but I have a couple thoughts for you here. So we're going to move into talking about all this. My next question to you, and if you'd like, please go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll be looking through the chat for some of these. What questions do you have about open-ended questions? I have given you a quick fire hose of information about open-ended questions, many of which probably some of you already knew a lot of this. Hopefully, I gave you one extra kernel that about or maybe are willing to try. So let's take that knowledge and let's move to a place of what kind of have about open questions that I have responded to. Oh, it's a good one. Are there open-ended questions to avoid? Cool. And I won't be answering some of these. I want to build up some of our questions because we're going to go into table groups and talk about open-ended questions. And so verbalizing your questions at this point, we'll have a really wonderful discussion. Breakout rooms. Monique's going to help me make breakout. And then you'll have a chance to kind of discuss things. One of the things I think that comes up pretty often for me is those open-ended questions at the beginning of the program were pretty low stakes. Like I said, you know, hey, where are you joining us from today? Where did you have breakfast today? What do you hope to see today? Those are really low stakes questions, right? You can say, bunny rabbit, and people are like, yay, hopefully we will see a bunny rabbit. It's really open, really low stakes, right? At the end of the program, we're asking them to kind of look at not only what they came in with, but what they learned in the program. It's a little bit higher stakes, and sometimes this is difficult for us to do when um, we're in front of strangers, or when it's a really complex or even a controversial issue. It might be harder to say these things, and so it might help to when we're able to use the small talk at the beginning. Remember, it builds that rapport, right? So they may be more willing to answer those high stakes questions toward the end. Okay, awesome. I can see everybody's thinking. That is fantastic. And all right, so what we're going to do is put you into breakout rooms. Monique, did you get our breakout rooms? All right, time for table discussion. So here's my instructions for you in the table discussion. Share some additional examples of open-ended questions you might use. Some of you may have put those in the chat already, but it's becoming a really amazing, rich chat in there. So, you know, there might be some people in your breakout room that didn't see your example. So make sure some more examples. I don't know if we've seen a lot of. I didn't do a comparison of whether we saw a lot of beginning ones or ending ones. I know for me it's a little hard. I want to be even more strategic at the end, so that I inform myself about how my program is doing. So I spend a lot more time even coming up with open-ended questions at the end because they are more high stakes. How do I want a person to be able to respond or to respond? So so you might talk about that, is to share some of those. And I get questions all the time like, Nikki, why do I need to verbalize my question? I ask questions all day long. Yes, you do. But sometimes we're like deer in the headlights trying to come up with a good question right at the toward the when we're in our program. So verbalizing this and practicing this does get you ready to do these in person while you're in your programs, or if you're giving a program online. So some other things to think about though while you're in your breakout room. What's it's the quality of your discussion that's really the important part. So how have you seen these questions play out well? How have you seen them not play out well? So that's another thing you might want to talk about in your breakout room. And then when we'll get back together, we'll have just a few minutes. We'll be able to get some shout outs. I won't be able to hear from every group, but we'll get some shout outs. So if something was really meaningful in your group, let's shout it out when we come back. Otherwise, I'm going to put you into groups, and you'll be there for about 8-9 minutes. So Monique, go ahead and hit that.
Hi, Carol. Are you having trouble getting in a breakout room? Or Cassidy? Nikki, I can have us join breakout rooms. I wanted to check with you first.
You three can go ahead. I want to look at the chat and do
okay.
some kind of looking at what we've got still in the chat.
Kristen, I'm going to put you in room 1. Gabby, I'll put you in room 2. And I'll be in room 3.
All right, and Cassidy and Donna, you are welcome. If there's thoughts that you want to share with me, you are absolutely welcome to. Otherwise, I'm just going to be perusing the chat here while you're here with me. All right. Hi, Suzanne.
I
There's been some great stuff coming up in this chat. I finally got a moment to breathe and look through all the chat. It's just been wonderful. So and Donna, what you just posted here, this is great. Using it, finding pre-tour sleuthing is how Donna put it in the chat. I love it. So I wanted to hear from you. What are some shout outs from these groups that were really helpful to you? I'm going to take one or two. Susan, do you have one?
what was your question?
A shout out from the group. Like what did we hear in our groups that was helpful information?
Oh, I just really loved when Ruth mentioned if you're confronted with a visitor who is kind of hostile and says, "Oh, I don't like zoos," and then she said her response, it was really lovely. It was like, "Tell me more about that," or "Tell me your concerns." And I love it. Just being able to verbalize and ask that question kind of decreases the aggression or hostility.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So great point. We can use open-ended questions or open-ended responses to kind of help with uh, help with all kinds of situations. Whether it's positive. Anybody else have a shout out you'd like to?
I did. Um, in our group, the main thing that stuck with me was try not to get triggered by their question.
Okay.
You know, zoos are, like what you were talking about, the zoos, and zoos are bad, you know, kind of thing. Try not to get triggered in that and go down that run rabbit hole. Like, how dare you say zoos aren't good? You know, because now you're going into your emotions, and you might not ever get out of that rabbit hole.
Sure, sure. And so this happens sometimes with open-ended questions, is the responses we get can be across the board, right? I really want to. We'll have a dive. All right. Do we have another shout out?
Anybody else catching? Nikki, it seems like you're coming and going in terms of the strength of your voice, your volume. I don't know.
I know
That's
why.
just me.
Thank you, Ruth, for bringing that up.
Sure.
You know what I can do is use microphone. Okay, I'm amazed you guys can hear it all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ruth. Let's see if I can get this to work again now that it's the end. All right. So any other thoughts? The top of my head will come in soon enough. There we go. All right. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me a little bit better now. Thank you, Ruth. Any other group want to share out? I think I got time for one more.
My group had some good points about just what do you do when visitors lag behind and you need to get to the next section, and just strategies for that. I thought was really interesting. One was just to make sure they know as you go along and catch them up. And the other one, I think Cindy was saying, they actually solved that problem by using headsets, so it wasn't where, you know, people could be as close or as far away as you go through your 1 hour program as possible.
Absolutely.
So there's some neat things to that.
Those are great strategies. Monique, can we put that down as like a deep dive? Because I've got some more ideas for that. How to move people from one spot to another is almost like moving a freight train.
Well, I think I wanted to input on that before we got cut off, and I
Yeah.
believe that we should tie a rope to every person on the tour, and everybody be tied together like they're
That would
climbing
help.
a mountain, so that when you move, they have to move.
There you go. There you go.
There's a safety issue. I understand the safety.
We do see that with open-ended questions too. You know, we're trying to build that rapport with people, and sometimes it does make the tour a little more casual than what we had kind of hoped. Sometimes that's, you know, we have to look at how people will respond to that as well. Is that we don't want it too formal so that people feel like they're like, oh, I've got to be really good on this. You know, your audience doesn't feel that it's stuffy, but also we don't want it to the complete other side where people are like, okay, who cares? Great point, Robert. All right. So I wanted to wrap up our discussion. We're at almost the 10:45 mark, or the 45 out 10:45 for us in Arizona, right? So I wanted to wrap up what we talked about today. We talked about how open-ended questions start off sounding like small talk, but they do have a purpose. We can leverage the connection built during that small talk through the rest of the program if we're strategic about the choice of open-ended questions that we ask. And that when we include open-ended questions at the end of the program, it propels the experience beyond the program. So we're looking back at our main theme today, which was leverage the impact of your program from start to finish. I'm going to erase the start to finish part and say from before the program starts till long after the program is over, we can leverage the purpose of our and the impact of our program simply by using open-ended questions. So I'm also going to say a thank you today for joining us for our inaugural event. We were so excited about the response that we got. We thought it'd be just the four of us at least talking. So we're really happy to see our community come together. I'm really happy to see some students from the past, and I'm sure I speak for the other 3 trainers as well, as that we've gotten to know many of you, and we're really happy that you're on this journey with us. We can go farther together, which is our inaugural newsletter. So if we didn't get to answering your question or thought about open-ended questions, thank you for putting them in the chat. We're going to take some more deep dives as the months go on. Hopefully you'll be with us for those. Hopefully you'll be there with us next time. April 16th is our next event, so sign up for that. And very excited that you were with us today. I absolutely love leading this discussion for you. And I'm going to stick around until the top of the hour so we have more conversation. We're welcome to. That officially ends our official part of the program. But if you have more questions about what we do, or more questions about open-ended questions or how to respond to them, we'll just have a hangout until the top of the hour. So, but otherwise, you're free to